Hi everyone, welcome back to Yoga on Ashley G Wellness. My name is Ashley. This is Durga. This is my pup. She just decided to come and say hello to you this morning. Today I wanted to take you through a sequence of postures that help with energy and digestion. I don't know about you, but if I eat a really big meal, or if I eat something that my body doesn't like, sometimes that causes a drop in energy as well as some sluggish motility in the digestive system. So today's yoga postures that we'll be working with are some basic twists and backbends. Twists for that intestinal motility and backbends for energy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and come into a comfortable seated position, just starting off the practice with a bit of centering. Focus on either your breath or something about this present moment that brings you some comfort or a sense of ease. And just notice how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, maybe even spiritually. Just being aware of how you are in this moment, here and now, without attachment, without judgment, but with curiosity and compassion. Take a full breath in through your nose, and as you exhale, let it out with a sigh. And gently open your eyes. Please begin on your back. Come all the way down. And then start with your legs out straight. Take your arms over your head for Supta Urdhva Hastasana. Hook your thumbs and reach your fingertips toward that wall. Reach your heels toward the opposite wall. And then pull your rib cage back and your tailbone toward the ceiling to flatten out your back a little bit, even if it doesn't reach all the way to the floor. And just take a few rounds of deep breathing here. Keep reaching through fingertips, reaching through your legs. On your next exhale, keep all the length, but pull your right knee toward your chest. Interlace your fingers around your right shin. Take your knee outside your rib cage, high up toward your right armpit, and then back into the midline of your body, really putting a little bit of pressure in your abdomen with your leg, as much as possible. Let your right ankle relax, but keep your left toes and kneecap active, your left leg pointing straight up toward the ceiling. Pull on your right leg a little bit more, and then push your shin back into your leg. We call this pose wind removing posture. Couple more breaths here. And then slide that right foot under the back of your left knee. Take your left hand outside your right thigh and your right arm to the right like a cactus arm. And just twist the lower half of your body gently to the left and go slowly. Just gauge how far is best for you. You don't have to take your right knee all the way to the floor. Just go to whatever level feels like you're getting a bit of a twist, maybe a bit of a stretch on your right side. Slowly untwist, come back to center and extend your right leg straight. Reach your arms back over your head. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, pull your left knee toward your chest. Interlace fingers around your shin. Take your knee outside your rib cage to the left, high up toward your armpit, and then back to the midline, squeezing your thigh toward your abdomen. Hands into shin, shin into hands. And really with each breath, try to allow your abdomen to expand to its fullest capacity without feeling too uncomfortable. Just letting it kind of release any tension that is in those muscles in that area. Sometimes low motility in the intestines can be caused by abdominal tension alone. So we try to relax those places. Hook your left toes under your right knee, right hand to your left thigh, left arm like a cactus arm, and twist your legs to the right. Again, moving slowly, breathing deeply. And then gently untwist, come back to center. Place your feet on the floor so that they're hip distance and point your toes straight ahead. Then walk your shoulders in one at a time for bridge pose. Push your head, shoulders, and feet down and lift your hips up. You could keep your arms like this, using your arms to push back into the floor, or grab onto the outer edges of your mat, or even interlace fingers underneath you. And if you adjusted your arms, just make sure you walk your shoulders in again so that no part of your vertebrae, your spine, touches the floor. And keep your chin lifting away from your chest. Push more through your inner feet and lift more through your outer hips. And just breathe. And release your hands, lower your hips to the floor. Just let your knees go back and forth a few times, side to side, windshield wipers. Great, then bring your knees up toward your chest, both of them together. Squeeze them in. Your arms can either be like swirl cactus arms, or you can have straight arms, whatever feels better for your shoulders. Keep your shoulders rooted into the ground as you start to turn your knees toward the left, but swing your legs high up toward your right elbow. Then push your bottom knee up into your top knee. Try not to let them separate for Jatara Parvartanasana. Firmly rotated pose. Try to hover your legs above your right arm or above the floor as you pull your heels in. And then turn your stomach to the left as you press more through your left shoulder blade. Gently come back up. And then start to turn your knees to the right, but swing your knees up to your left shoulder or elbow, or just the floor somewhere high up in that direction. Push your bottom knee up into your top knee. Keep your right hip pushing away from your right armpit, and then press your right shoulder blade back into the floor. Don't hold your breath. And gently come back up. Lower your feet to the floor for a moment. Lift and lower your hips. Do a couple more windshield wipers, knees side to side. All right, now pull your knees into your chest. Either roll to one side or rock back to rock forward to sit up, and then come into a downward facing dog. Make sure your hands are shoulder distance, index fingers point straight ahead. push through the inner edges of your hands. And then reach your inner thighs back and maybe take your heels to the floor. Of course, always feel free to bend your knees in downward dog or keep your knees on the floor just behind your hips. Just take a few slow, deep breaths here. Take your knees to the floor and then lower all the way down onto your belly. Take your forearms underneath you so your elbows are under your shoulders and your wrists are in front of your elbows, palms flat. And just wiggle your hips side to side, pull yourself gently forward so that your flesh feels even underneath you. Press your hips into the floor, pull your ribs back, and then pull your shoulders back, and then lift up through your sternum, curl your head back, and maybe look up. And breathe here. Sphinx pose. Lift your gaze back to center and then walk your hands back to push up to all fours. Bring your big toes together and your knees wide. We're going into turned child's pose, so take your hips back to your heels. Your knees can stay wide, or if you prefer to take your knees together, that's good too. And then just walk your hands over to your left, at the left diagonal from your left knee, and keep walking your hands forward as you pull your belly, your rib cage back. And then lift your sternum forward as you walk your hands more in that direction. You could stay here or stack your right hand on top of your left hand, hook your fingers under your palm, and then maybe drop your right armpit toward the floor as you lift the left side of your ribs toward the ceiling, and feel free to let your head drop toward your right arm. And again, just keep your abdomen, allowing it to expand and contract with your breath. Doing your best to let go of the tension in that area. And gently untwist. Walk your hands over to the other side, diagonally to the right. Pull your ribs back, belly back. Lift your sternum forward as you walk your fingers more forward into the right. Do or don't place your left palm on top of your right hand. Hook your fingers. And then maybe drop your left side more toward the floor. Lift your right side more toward the ceiling. Feel free to drop your ear to your left arm. Continuing to breathe slowly, deeply, and evenly. In through your nose, out through your nose, as long as your nose isn't clogged. And gently untwist, walk your hands back to center. And then just come into regular child's pose. You can do knees wide again or knees together. Arms either out in front of you or even arms back by your legs for folded child's pose. Just let your head drop to or toward the floor or to a block. Place your hands next to your shoulders, move your shoulders back, lift your chin, and press yourself back up. Ustrasana, camel. Come up onto your knees. Feel free to pad your knees by doubling or tripling up your mat or using a blanket underneath them. Have your knees about 2 fists width apart from the inner edges. Your toes curled under or tops of feet on the floor if you're going for the deeper, more advanced version. Take your hands to your bottom like so. Thumbs point out, fingers point down. And then pull your shoulders back, lift up through your sternum, and then push down through your knees as you press your hips forward. Then keep doing that. Hips forward, sternum up, shoulders back, throat back, lift your chin. Now you could totally stay here in this variation, or at the same time, drop your hands to your feet. If your toes are curled under, it just makes your feet a little higher, more available to grab. Keep pressing your hips forward, pulling your shoulders back, throat back. Don't hold your breath. Keep the back of your neck long. Maybe look all the way back toward the wall behind you. And keep breathing. In order to come out, place hands on hips, lift heart first, head last. Take your fingers, interlace them behind your neck so your pinky fingers are just below the base of your skull. And then gently push up in your elbows, creating space here. And release your hands. If your mat is folded, unfold it. And then take yourself back down onto your back. Happy baby. Grab onto your outer feet with your hands. Push your feet and hands into each other and gently rock side to side if it feels okay on your back. Maybe even start to close your eyes or gaze at a steady point up on the ceiling. Recline child's pose, wrap your arms around your legs or just hold onto your shins. Maybe go all the way up to grab your wrists or even your elbows for the deepest squeeze. And here just allow your whole belly to relax. If there's any residual tension there, try to breathe and let it go. Savasana. Feel free to rest here for the allotted couple of minutes that I've put in the video, or stay longer, shorter. Just make sure you make some time for rest. Thank you all so much for coming to practice with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day.